10 o'clock. I'd like to call the Agriculture Service Board meeting for October 14th, 2025 to order. The meetings are recorded and may be posted on official Wheatland County social media channels. Agriculture Service Board is conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council Chambers is open for public attendance in person while continuing to use the current telecommuting process in place. So we have an agenda before us. Are there any additions? George?
George from administration here. I'd like to put in camera session quoting the Access to Information Act, Section 22, confidential evaluation regarding the ASB summer tour organizational changes.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll add that under Section 5 for closed. Any other changes or? Hearing none, I'll call the question. Everybody, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you, everyone. We have minutes to our July 9th, 2025 meeting. Any errors or omissions? Member Link?
Move approval as presented.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. We'll move on. We have no presentations, no unfinished business. Under new business 2.3.1, 2025 ASB scholarship applicants. George?
George from administration here. I'm going to go over the report here. So in accordance with the Wheatland County ASB scholarship policy, the ASB may award up to $10,000 in scholarships annually to support students residing within Wheatland County who are pursuing post-secondary education in agriculture or environmental science with individual scholarship amounts ranging from a minimum of $500 to a maximum of $2,500. Following a consensus reached through email communications, the ASB Scholarship and Awards Committee recommended the following distribution of available scholarship funds as follows: to Hayes, Samantha, and Erwin, $2,000 each, and the four applicants, Jackson, Wyatt, Quinn, and Aubrey, each receive $1,000 for a total allocation of $10,000, which meets the 2025 budget allocation for this expenditure. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Member Larson?
So just a question. 3 are getting 2,000 and 4 are getting 1,000. Was there a matrix, or how did that, how did you make this decision? Is it a weighted decision?
The email went out, sorry, George from administration, through the chair. So administration and the committee had sent a polling email to the committee members. And one of the options was option 3, which was this allocation of funds, and it had the most votes. So that's what we brought forward to the board today.
So there was no matrix or any kind of decision as to who gets how much?
There was the decision by the committee who had voted on the option, yes.
Okay.
Member Castor?
I was on that committee and I voted not for this one. So really you can't say it was a consensus of the committee. I wasn't in favor of this option. It might have been a majority, but it wasn't a consensus.
My apologies.
Yeah. And now that I'm speaking, I have similar concerns as Rick. We don't have a matrix on this one going here gets this much and this one here going. Sorry about that. If you qualify or you don't qualify. I remember there was one of them maybe questionable going for a business thing, and I was in favor of including them too. So basically they should all get the same because they all qualified. That was my feelings. Okay, so I just want that plain. It wasn't consensus. It was, and I'm still opposed to them all getting different amounts when they all qualified and there was no matrix. I think that's, I won't say what I think it is.
That's fair, and this board has the option to make its own decision. The committee has made a recommendation, but this board has the opportunity to make a different decision if they want to. So if you want to make a motion to do it differently, then you're certainly welcome to do that, and the board will vote on that.
Okay, I'll make a motion. I'll make the first motion that the board, ASB, make a policy adjustment that if you want to include a matrix or not include a matrix, we should look at it again. Is that fair?
So, yep, you want to direct administration to maybe create, sorry.
To review
Sorry,
it?
George has got a comment?
George here with administration again. I'd just like to highlight the fact that there is a policy that goes along with the scholarship awards.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the thought from previous meetings when we struck this committee was there didn't need to be a matrix because we had the committee making the recommendations to the board, was from my understanding. Thank you.
Yeah, previous year I was against it too. I wanted them all the same. I remember that. So we keep breaking off into splitting up the numbers. I think it should be in policy so it's clear moving forward that they either all get the same, or if you're going to such and such a school, you get extra, or if you're taking this course, you get extra, but we don't have any of that in there now. So it's hard for me to say, you get that and oh, you get this because of your hair color or lack of hair or whatever the reasoning is. It's unfair to the recipients and to our residents to not to know why there's different amounts. If there was a defining policy that would say it, fine, but we don't have it. And until we don't have it, I believe they should all be the same. So my first motion is that staff review the policy and bring it back to a future board meeting so we can have a consensus on what we do. So that's my first motion.
Member Link and then Member Larson.
I'll look for the motion to come up just for clarification for what we're considering first. I will be supporting the recommendation from the committee if a motion comes forward regarding that. Only because as the full board, we aren't reviewing the eligible applications, and I do trust that the policy was followed. The policy indicates that the Scholarship and Awards Committee reviews all eligible applications and recommends scholarship recipients and award amounts to the ASB. The committee is encouraged to meet in person and to present its recommendations during the October or January ASB meeting following the application deadline. So for me to vary from what the committee recommended is going to be challenging, just because as a full board, we don't review all of the applications. We delegate that responsibility to the committee, and I trust the democratic decision that's made at committee. I do support the development of the matrix. I think that that would be a good document for the committee to use for kind of that decision-making process as they're evaluating the applicants. And a matrix always just is a good tool for when you're evaluating things, especially when it can be somewhat subjective. So very supportive of that for going forward. But because we hadn't integrated that into this process, for myself, I would trust the committee recommendation that's coming to the board. Thank you.
Just to be clear, the motion is just about staff reviewing the policy.
Yep. So Member Larson wanted to comment.
I think for me, the optics don't look good doing it this way. And I do not know any of the applicants, so I have no vested interest in this. But if it comes out, which appears from what George had said, it was an arbitrary decision that wasn't based on any criteria. This really looks bad to me that 3 people get 2,000 and 4 people only get 1,000 without any rationale for why that's being done. Now, you know, unless there's something I'm missing here, but you've said there's no matrix, so I don't know how you make a decision without a matrix.
Member Link?
Yeah, thank you. I'm just going to disagree with the word arbitrary. I don't believe that the committee would make arbitrary decisions. I trust that they took their review responsibility seriously and would have looked at the applications when they were reviewing them and then brought this recommendation forward based on the criteria that they were using to review the applications. So while a matrix can be an effective tool, it's not necessary in order to review, to make any kind of analysis. You can make analysis with a scoring matrix or a tool, or you can do it by reviewing, and there's multiple ways to evaluate. So I want to be clear that I do not believe that the committee would be bringing arbitrary recommendations to this board. Thank you.
And if it's not arbitrary, what is it? I haven't heard of any criteria. It can be criteria or a matrix, but it sounded like it was just a decision that was made. Like I said, unless I'm missing something, I'm willing to listen to what the criteria was, if in fact there was. Otherwise, it's in fact an arbitrary decision.
So I'll just chime in here. As a member of the committee, one of the things that we looked at was that the 3 people being awarded $2,000 had exemplary high school marks. So it was marks based. And so I agree with Member Castor that a matrix would be more transparent. And if you were awarding for a particular reason, it would be evident based on that, on some kind of matrix or guidelines or something like that. And so maybe, you know, in the future, it has to do with marks getting awarded in high school, or maybe it has to do with the program being taken, maybe somebody with a true ag or environment program, as opposed to one person who is in a business administration program. You know, if that were laid out in a matrix, that would make it clear to everybody how the decision was made. So then I guess I'll pause it now, and we have a motion on the floor to have administration review the policy and perhaps propose a matrix that could be used by the committee in the future. So any other discussion on that motion? Member Clausen?
Yeah, just a question I have. I don't know who the committee members are. 2 of them, 2 people here have said that they were on it. But was this a discussion at the committee about how to develop a matrix?
No, but we did this through email, a vote through email, and so we didn't really have a robust discussion about it. We basically, a couple of us made our opinion, had an opinion and wrote it, and then there was just a vote, and people voted without any further discussion. Nobody, you know, responded to say, I'm opposed to that idea. It was just a vote taken. Member Graves?
Yeah, as a member of the committee, I just would like to add that, so first of all, very supportive of a matrix. I think it can be challenging this year. There were substantially more applicants than I think I saw last year, if I recall. So spreading meant a lower amount to all. So there were a variety of different perspectives shared in that chain, and a vote for the 3 different options put out there. Again, I was not aware of an objection to any of those options that were presented to those on the committee. So I mean, I still stand behind where we've landed in terms of the committee being responsible to talk about each of the applicants. You know, we read all of their applications in detail. There was quite a bit of detail, and a lot of these are, I mean, all applicants are exemplary, but 3 that stood out in the community and in marks were the 3 recommended for a higher amount. That said, I do think a matrix for future will give a lot more transparency and make, quite bluntly, make it much easier for the committee to make a decision, a standard and repeatable decision. So.
Yes, thank you. That clarifies for me. And I do not fault the committee with what you had to work with our policies or whatever, but it's always good to improve them. And then if there's happens to be is there a timeline for the recipients of this? I'm just thinking if it goes where this gets delayed, does that hinder the development of these students?
George here. The application deadline is around September 15th, so we can have time for the committee to deliberate the awarding amounts.
And traditionally, we send out award it at this time of year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the motion?
The intent of my motion wasn't to reevaluate it or the committee back, because that would be unfair too, because of the applicants applied to a different matrix and we can't change it midstream. I'm thinking staff take it,
Future.
look at it, evaluate it, whatever you do with it, and bring it back to a future board meeting for discussion. I don't think we can turn around and reevaluate on a different criteria. No, I think that would be inappropriate. And one other thing, I think I heard someone mention they didn't know anybody on the thing, on the list. And as you all see, one of them name is a Kester. I'm related to one other one on that list. I'll let you guess which one. And I know two of the other ones. So I know just about everyone on there. Just to be clear, this isn't a decision about an individual person. It's about our process and being fair and open and transparent.
All right, excellent discussion. We have a motion on the floor to review the scholarship policy, bring it back to a future meeting. I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Member Kester.
Having said that, I'll make a motion that we accept all the applicants and we give them all an equal amount of the scholarship.
Any discussion?
So,
Donna and then, oh, sorry, Member Bigger and then Member Link.
so we divide the 10,000 into 7.
I think if I recall from our discussions, it would be like 1,666 something cents each. Mm-hmm. Member Kester?
Yeah, when we voted, I think that was number one at the top of the list, the same. And I thought I wanted it the same. I always did and always will, unless we develop something else. So that I figured was in my vote. And what prompted me to speak out was when I seen the word consensus. That gives the impression that the board was unified. And it was done by email. We all read the things and we all did whatever.
Yeah, so just for clarity, option was, one was approving all 7 applications for $1,428.57, approving 6 applications excluding one that was borderline with what we had seen in the piece. Option 3 was as presented, and option 4 was further discussion around the scholarship approval. So just to clarify, if we were to split amongst all 7 applications, it'd be $1,428.57.
Thank you for that. Member Bigger?
And the members have voted on, that came out to all the members, correct?
Yes.
So we've voted on the option number 3 already.
That was what the majority chose. Yes.
Majority.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Member Link?
Just wanted to reiterate, I won't be supporting the motion because we don't have the applications as an ASB for the board to review in their entirety. And so just reiterating that I'm going to follow, because the policy was followed, I'm going to be supporting the recommendation of the committee. Thank you.
All right, any other comments? Member
Yeah, I will be supporting the original because, as been pointed out, the ones that received the $2,000 had better marks. So there is some form of meritocracy in that. The fact that you just show up and you get paid, I have a problem with that. The people that do the work deserve to get more money because that's the way life works. So I'll be voting against the equal share thing.
Any other discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor? Of, sorry, that the board approve awarding equal shares of the 2025 Service Board scholarships. So all in favor? We have 2 in favor, opposed? 5 opposed? 6 opposed, sorry, 2, 4, 6. That is lost. Board's wishes? Member Link.
I'll move that the board approve the recommendation of the Agricultural Service Board Scholarship and Awards Committee to award the 2025 Agricultural Service Board scholarships as recommended in the RFD on page 6.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor? All opposed? That is carried. Thanks, everyone. Okay, we can move on to the proposed 2026 ASB budget. George.
George here from administration. So I will go over the proposed budget summary. I won't go into grand detail regarding the subcategories. Please feel free to ask questions, though, if you have any. So as per the Ag Service Board bylaw, the ASB budget requires council authorization as part of the county's annual budget process. This report outlines the projected costs for 2026 related to the ASB's operational activities and programs. Upon preliminary approval by the board, administration will present a detailed budget to council for review and approval during the county's budget cycle. Below is a summary of the key programs and activities planned or proposed within the 2026 under the Ag Service Board's assigned mandates. So of course that includes our mowing program. The ASB summer tour is kind of a one-off in this budget cycle. So it's worth mentioning, we are scheduled for July 14th to 16th. We're expecting 400 to 500 members. We are looking at gaining 327,500 regarding sponsorship, or pardon me, from registration, and sponsorship requests, an ongoing target of $25,000. As they're not confirmed yet, we have excluded that from the proposed summary table later in this report. Let's see. So I see we missed a sentence here. So overall administration is projecting a revenue shortfall of approximately $100,000 and $150,000 regarding our original budget. Producer funding includes things like the Wheatland Agricultural Stewardship Project, Safe Water Wells Action, the Wheatland County Shelter Belt and Eco Buffer Program, Alice Wheatland, and the WRRP program. So that is our producer funding programs. Our Ag Plastics program is ongoing, and I suspect it's going to be quite a large program moving forward this year. Our pest control program mainly has to do with Richardson ground squirrels on county lands. We have our ongoing weed inspection program, and our Ag Service Officer is the point person for that. Regarding our extension event scholarships and awards programs, that includes our ASB awards, scholarships and grant funding, community support and coordination for external producer grant funding. So that's grant funding from the GOA or the Canada federal grants. And then of course, producer workshop tours, meetings and conferences, things like that. So we just went through the scholarship portions, and then other administration and indirect costs are other categories that are related and support the county operations. This includes things like training and reclamation and administration support. We have broken out into a light equipment repairs category, roadside seating program, our safety program, the vegetation control, agricultural surveys and communications, the seed licensing, plant inspections are ongoing on an annual basis. And then you can see this is our capital budget. So we have proposed these items here. So one is for a tractor, one is for a 15-foot mower. That's without the herbicide application capability in that. A swing arm to assist the tractor and mower, and then a replacement bale truck for our agricultural plastics program, and a seeder attachment for one of our small tractors, and potentially as well as C-can for our pesticide storage equipment to improve operational efficiencies. So the budgeted revenues include our legislative grant, which is $166,247 from the government of Alberta, and also our resource management grant of $62,900. $327,500 in registration fees from the ASB budget tour. And so the following chart presents the projected and proposed 2026 budget for Wheatland County's Ag Service Board. The budget summary also incorporates equipment amortization, which is included within the total operational cost. The estimated amortization cost for all department capital assets is approximately $175,000, which $32,146 is projected to be added to the 2026 budget if all capital projects are approved by council. So on page 13, you can see the chart here. It's got the total operating costs, revenue, net program operating costs, and the capital costs in there, supported with some notes on each side. And you can see the tallies. So some of those figures are included in the overall tally, but they are shown here just so you can see the producer funding money that would go out, right? And support for producer funding and things like that. Certain costs such as staff salaries are based on the 2025 budget will be adjusted during the process of finalizing the county's overall 2026 budget, which will be presented to council later this year. As a result, slight discrepancies may exist between the budget summary in this report and the values in the total budget presentation to council. So this report is intended to assist the Ag Service Board in understanding the activities of the Ag and Environment Department and provide the board with an opportunity to approve the proposed 2026 interim budget or direct revisions before it's been presented to council for final review and approval. I am available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Any questions regarding the proposed budget?
I just have a couple. This year in our area, we've had a lot of good crops. So a lot of the plastic, there's a lot this year. This replacement bale truck, when would it be available if it were to be approved? It wouldn't be in this next spring coming up, would it?
It's been a little bit, if it was approved by the end of December by council and we got the go ahead, I suspect we wouldn't get it until the fall, the following year. Yeah, it takes a long time for these things to come out. And after COVID, we had one truck that didn't show up for like 2.5 years. Not that that's the case anymore, but I suspect it wouldn't be instantaneous to the season. Thank you.
And my second one was, I guess we don't, so if you were to sell any of your equipment as you're replacing it, that number isn't in here, correct?
Correct. It's not displayed in there.
Thank you.
Any other, Member Greer?
Just for clarity, the capital budget that's been requested, is that all, are those net new assets or are those all replacement assets?
The tractor, swing arm, and mower would be an additional unit. So this is, the thought is, we have had lots of operational challenges with equipment, malfunctions, and repairs. So this is one way to stay on top of everything. The seeder would be a new addition, and that is for our small tractors. So that would be able to get into the small areas. And then the C-can would be an additional item as well.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Member Kester?
Just curious, you got $5,247 for seed cleaning plant inspections. What does a seed cleaning plant inspection entail?
George here from administration again. So annually, we are legislated to do seed cleaning plant inspections. So it basically is 2 staff going through the 3 seed plants in one day with a form provided by the government of Alberta to be a third party and check to make sure that the seed being cleaned is in fact being cleaned, that their screenings are in good shape, and that there's not a lot of debris that can get mixed in with their final product. So it's been a bit of a carryover from years past, and it's only a day with a couple staff, so it is fairly cheap, I guess.
So you're telling me one day with 2 staff is $5,000?
It also includes the truck costs and planning before and afterwards and administration. And we have also piloted these new forms for the government of Alberta as well last year. So we did our best to come up with that number regarding everything,
Well,
yes.
I'm just questioning the rationale is all. Is there any cost to the seed plants? Or we just do it as an ag service board because we're supposed to do it?
We are mandated by the province to do it, and it is of no cost to the seed plants.
So theoretically, the money that we get as a grant from the ASB, the grants that we get from the province for our ASB is meant to cover the costs of these legislative activities that we're meant to do.
That is exactly right. The legislative cost is supposed to support the weed, pest, and soil conservation and initiatives.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, a motion, it's a recommendation on page 9. Member Greer? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that the board directs administration to submit for council's approval that proposed Agricultural Services Board 2026 interim budget as summarized in this report or in the report.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Not, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Reporting policy. George.
George here from administration. I will go through the publications and reporting policy report. Since 2018, administration has produced an annual program update document, a public-facing summary of the previous year's activities, achievements, and program statistics completed by the Agriculture and Environment Department. This document serves as an informational tool for Wheatland County Agricultural Service Board, Wheatland County Council, and the public, offering insight into the ASB's programs, activities, notable developments, and related educational articles. The ASB is legislatively required under the ASB Act of Alberta to present an annual summary of its activities to Council. However, the ASB Act does not specify the format or content of this summary. To ensure consistency, transparency, and alignment with Council expectations, administration is seeking direction to develop a formal policy governing the preparation and presentation of the ASB's annual program update and other publications intended for submission to Wheatland County ASB or Council. At the July 9th, 2025 ASB meeting, the board passed a resolution supporting the development of a formal reporting policy, and it's said that the board directed administration to draft an ASB publications and reporting policy outlining the board's requirements for reports from administration to the board, the ASB's annual reporting to Wheatland County Council, and any other reports or publications the board wishes to have prepared. Under the ASB Act of Alberta, each municipality is legislatively required to report its activities to municipal council. You can see section 4, the summary of activities from the Provincial Ag Service Board Act. Quotes, a board must present a summary of its activities for the preceding year to the council in a form acceptable to the council containing the information required by the council. While the Act mandates the submission of an annual summary, it does not prescribe a specific format or content. This lack of clarity provides municipalities with flexibility, but it also necessitates the development of internal standards to ensure consistency, transparency, and accountability. The current reporting practices include ASB meetings are open to the public and are recorded for viewing later on YouTube. The agricultural fieldman provides regular updates through quarterly ag fieldman reports, which are included in the ASB meeting packages and contribute to the monthly transportation and agricultural reports to council. The ASB minutes act as a board report to council and are provided for council for information. The program update document has complemented these quarterly reports by offering a consolidated year-end overview of the ASB operations, including ag and environment conservation initiatives, equipment and rental information, extension and education program information, grant and program information, scholarship and award information, relevant articles of regional, agricultural and/or environmental importance, and vegetation and pest control efforts. Given the legislative requirements and absence of a formal policy, administration recommends to the ASB to approve and attach the reporting and publications policy. The policy updates current ASB reporting and publication practices to streamline annual reporting and planning efforts and to align the ASB communications with the county's overall communications framework. If supported by the Ag Service Board, the policy will be presented to council for final approval. Once adopted, it will establish consistent standards for future reports and publications, ensuring compliance with legislation and alignment with the Ag Service Board's and council's expectations. Thank you.
Brad.
I was going to mention the resolution is a recommendation for the board to kind of accept it and then take it to council. The board does have the authority to approve its own policies as well. The only thought with that resolution was because it is related to reports to council. If the board wanted to give council an opportunity to review that in council session, given the makeup of the board, though, the board probably isn't outside of its delegated authority to just approve the policy outright without it going to council. But of course, it's up to how the board wants to do that.
Thank you. I was going to ask that whether or not we needed to have council approval, but yeah, thank you for the clarification there. All right, everybody has seen the proposed policy starting on page 21. Any comments or discussion on that?
I guess just one thing that you guys add or could add is that you report, we have 2 open houses to the public through council, and ASB has been there. That is something that could carry, make sure it's carried forward. And it's something that you guys have already done.
That's a very good point. I think in you're thinking, so I know in the report itself, it talked about where ASB reports, and that could be one of them, but in the actual policy, there's not really a place. You're thinking that it should be added into the
Just so that
policy?
it continues.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking that the proposed ASB program performance and planning report presentation to the ASB and council could be used for external communication as well. So I don't know if it needs to be, I'm just reading the part about report shall be presented to council at a regular council meeting. You could just add a line saying the report could be used for external communication purposes as well. Member Kester?
Council approves everything that goes for communication, so maybe you could word it, council may consider it. Because we have no authority to include it, or you have to do it, but you can say council may consider it as a part of their open house or their year-end or whatever council wants to do with it.
I don't recall.
We want to provide a separate one for public consumption. But I don't think this policy was for public. It was more for
Internal reporting. Member Link?
On page 22, just before references, it says ASB related publication shall be prepared and distributed in accordance with the county's approved, and it goes on. I just wanted a clarifying question to Member Bigger. Were you hoping to have attendance at the open houses integrated into the policy in addition? So I wonder if we could just have like a line following that paragraph that in addition to ASB publications being available at the Wheatland County open houses, that ASB, were you hoping an ASB administrative representative would be available? Yeah.
I mean, it happens now. I just wanted to have it.
Yeah, I think it's good to capture it in the policy so that the process is documented.
Good points. Any other comments on the policy? We want to, the recommended motion is to endorse. Do you want us to come back for review at next ASB meeting, or do you want to endorse the policy as presented with addition of, yeah, I don't know, it's a bit unclear what we would, it's up to you. What do you think?
I guess if staff wanted to find out where to put it and where to put it, that makes sense. We could just have it come back. It's just not a big, it's not a big issue, but it just wasn't in there, and I just thought it should be.
So this could be a situation, though, where it would be good to have it come back to county council. So we could approve it, endorse the policy with amendments as discussed, and then direct it to come back to Wheatland County Council for council approval. Love that. Anybody want to make that motion?
I move that the board endorse the policy as presented and direct administration to submit as presented with, yes, as presented with the amendment, and direct administration to submit it to the Wheatland County Council for council's consideration for a potential final approval.
Any discussion on that? Motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda is the chair's report. My report is on page 23. And so I just will say that I've been trying to get public participation in the gopher situation. And over the summer, I did have an opportunity to speak with MP David Bexty and MLA Sigurdsson. Both are trying to do anything in their power to draw attention to the matter. I think it's it's gotten some traction, but I don't know where it's going to go from here. So I think we just have to keep on making sure that people are aware that it's a concern. I attended an online webinar on egg plastic waste, and I also forwarded that survey to as many people as I could get to try and get input to how people would like to see that program get implemented in Alberta. There's two choices they're proposing. One is like a stewardship option, which would be like the beverage container recycling, where you're encouraged to do it, but you don't have to. And you there's a management authority that looks after that process, or the extended producer responsibility, which is the way they are piloting the pesticide container stuff, where the point of the person responsible for selling the plastic has to be responsible for the recycling of it. So those are the two options they're looking at, and just looking for input from ag producers to what they would like to see. I attended the Alice Western Canada tour, which was amazing. Sarah Schumacher did an amazing job of coordinating an incredible tour that highlighted some really phenomenal producers in Wheatland County and the kinds of things they're doing to support ecosystem diversity and protecting riparian areas, things like that. So it was really a great tour that they put on, very worthwhile. And then we received a couple of updates recently from our provincial ASB. One was on weeds on well sites, which is included on page 120 of our package in the correspondence, and also an AGLC changes that could have a positive impact on ag societies, as well as other local nonprofit agencies in terms of how they can spend the proceeds of their casino proceeds. So those are two good things that have come out of our provincial ag service board. That's about all I have to say. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them. Otherwise, I'll move my report as presented. Any questions? No, seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor? That's carried. And then next is our third quarter 2025 Ag Fieldman report. George.
Hi there, George here from administration again. So you can see below some statistics and programming information. So, I mean, obviously we're not collecting and hauling grain bags in the summer. We do try to keep that on to the shoulder seasons in winter. Regarding the mowing, it looks like we actually may get a full second cut this year, which I think is going to be the first time. So that's going really great. Apparently the mowers are, after the first cut was quite slow and all the rain stopping us down. And the second cut, they've been able to run the machines a little bit faster. So getting a good second cut there. So you can see the rotation in the map. And one actually really interesting thing I wanted to note was we did find a new purple loosestrife infestation along the Bow River, or close to the Bow River. That's the first time we've ever seen anything new for about 20 years. The last few years we were running under 30 plants per year. So this is a new one. I just went and looked at this last Friday to have a look, and it got cleaned up really well. So we had the site people go in and remove all the seed head, and actually did a good spray job in there. And you can see the ASB Summer Tour Coordinators report here. So a lot of letters have gone out. You know, we got 10 stops potentially expressing interest, some big ones. We have booked a lot of rooms, campings getting close to finish, and we're just working through some transportation quotes we got. And my last point here, the upcoming 2025 agricultural related events. We're going to be doing a farm succession planning event at the Wheatland County Administration Office. We actually have booked that last week for November 19th. It's going to be a Wednesday and it will be like a full day event. And we'll be partnering with our WCFSS staff on that one as well. So that should be a really great event. And yeah, I'm available if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Any questions? Not a motion to accept as information? Member Larson? Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. And then you have a resolution tracker.
Yes, and the attached resolution tracker, you can see there's still a few outstanding things regarding the Cars Line Shelter Belt and Eco Buffer site, and then ASB tour things. And yeah, we are making progress on all of it. I'm available if you have any questions.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions? On a motion? Member Bigger.
I'll move that the board accept the updated ASB resolution tracker as information.
Thank you. Any comments, discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. We move on to our correspondent. Oh, sorry. Member Link?
Do we need a motion for the proposed logo, or was that sort of approved as part of the report? On page 28, there's under branding, communications has created an ASB similar to our logo. The logo is proposed for use on promotional and printed materials pending approval.
Pending approval. Oh. Good catch. George.
George here, just through the chair. The thought was that we would bring it to the committee first and then follow the chain upwards after that.
Very good. Good catch. Thank you. All right. Then moving on to correspondence. There's quite a list of things out there. I know a lot of ag service disasters declared in the north part of the province. They're experiencing incredible drought. It's funny how our province flip-flops north to south. Is there anything anybody wanted to bring forward on the correspondence?
Maybe just highlighting for producers the ag safe information I found extremely very valuable. Also, there was a very interesting article on employee versus contractor. I think that's an important conversation to be taking place, especially this time of year. There was some really good information. So for any producers that are listening in or that could take advantage of that, of course, our job is to also have those conversations. But I found, are your contractors really contractors in the material under 74 really interesting, and then the ag safe information was quite valuable as well. I don't know if we have done any first aid type training or if producers have ever asked for it, but I thought that was also an interesting article where they had centralized some training and had producers come in, because that was something highlighted that was missing on many operations.
We have worked with an organization who has done some farm safety, which is a little different than first aid. But yeah, that's an interesting point to consider hosting some first aid courses on site. Yeah. There's a couple of items that I would like to pull out, but is there anything anybody else would like to discuss in particular?
I guess all the disasters got me thinking about so there's certain criteria in order to call a disaster in your county for drought. Is there anything that we have, they've set out how you can measure loss of crop through the ground squirrels? Has there anything been presented from the province?
Through the chair, I haven't heard of like a formal reporting policy. It seems like they want pictures in that survey, at least one picture that is going to be open until mid-December, I think they said, or early December. There's so many variables there. I'm sure our farmer members could speak to that, but you know, moisture, fertility, soil conditions, there's just so many variables. I think it'd be hard to narrow down to just one. Thanks.
Fair enough, thanks.
I think at our last meeting, we had made a motion to send a letter to AFSC and the province to come up with a way to report, to report on gopher damage in crops. So we haven't heard back from that, but is something that we have put forward to the province to try and find a way to quantify it. Thank you. I wanted to have a little discussion about on page 208, there is a package that are Wheatland County, so A Farms contacted both me and the Reeve to ask if Wheatland County would consider sponsoring them in this hospitality symposium for 2026. So they had been selected as to host a world-class gathering of food, drink, and hospitality leaders. So they were looking for sponsorship. And so they submitted this package that gives opportunities, different ways, different levels of sponsorship, I guess. So I did say that I would bring it to our Ag Service Board for discussion. So I don't know if anybody has any ideas of whether this is appropriate for our board or whether we are interested in doing it. Donna, or Councillor Member Bigger.
It's pretty hard to sponsor in monies as a county, but what about in kind, as in, well, one thing would be to help marketing, in awareness, and in other in-kind things that we could do to help that instead of in monies?
That's kind of where I was going to, just an in-kind, like when you look at the sponsorship, we don't really fit into any of them. And it is a tricky thing to take public money and sponsor an event, a particular event. But I do think that we could certainly do some kind of marketing, social media posts. Not sure what else we could think of, but I don't know about their location, if there's anything that we could do to help them the day of the event or something. If they needed something like that, we could go back to them with, ask for some suggestions of how we could help that way. I don't know. Any other comments or suggestions? George, did you have anything to add?
I think with you, Shannon, I was thinking, where do we fit in this sponsorship thing? Now, the $3,000 in-kind product sponsorship, I mean, we don't have a product to be highlighted per se, but you know, it could be potentially advertising through this group for our ASB summer tour. Could be something like that. Just something to consider, I thought. A Farms has indicated they would like to participate in the ASB summer tour as well, so. We could also reach out to them and see if there was any in-kind support we could make available as well, if the board so chose.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to direct administration to reach out to A Farms to communicate with them, ask them what, how we could participate in an in-kind manner.
As this is sure to come up again, there's lots of different events taking place. It looks like this one's in Calgary explicitly. I don't know if they're touring out to the county, but do we have, as a county, any marketing or budgets for items like this? Is that more of a council level, or I'm just curious how this has worked in other, because this can't be the first time something like this has come forward.
So I'll just in the email that she sent us, she says the host venue location will be here at A Farms. So it will be here in Wheatland County. But that's a good question for administration. Do we have any marketing materials that we could share with them or okay, so there's a motion on the floor to direct administration to reach out. Is there any further discussion on that? I'll call the question. Is in favor? Opposed? One opposed? Okay. That is carried. Member Kester?
Some of the letters we received, and part of the topic today was gophers. And I've been thinking, how can the county help? Currently, gophers are insurable loss in crop insurance, but they're not treated the same way as hail insurance. They're put into your aggregate. And a year like this year, you probably won't recover anything. So if we could change and put it into spot loss like a hail rider, I think that would make a noticeable difference to the farms around here. Just something to think about. Maybe staff, if you could find something for a future meeting. Do you know what I'm talking about, the difference? Yeah.
Thank you for that. There was one other correspondence that I wanted to pull out of the list, and that is on page 226. And that is the letter from the Alberta Eco Trust Foundation. So this is, they are looking for a letter of support. They are advocating to the government of Alberta for the renewal of the Watershed Resiliency and Restoration Program funding past 2026. The provincial government has it in their budget until then, but nothing past that. So they wanted to just advocate for that continued funding to be available to landowners. So they are working in partnership with ALICE, the Old Man Watershed Council, and the International Institute for Sustainable Development. Wheatland County has provided funding to a few landowners under this grant program. So I think given that we have been utilizers of the grant money, I think it's worthwhile to support them in their advocacy for continued funding in that strain. So I'll move that administration sends a letter of support based on the sample letter provided, but also including some concise examples of WRRP programs that have been supported by Wheatland County, just to make the letter more kind of specific to Wheatland. Brad?
Thank you. Just a question for that letter. Does the board want administration to send that on behalf of the board, like with the chair signing it, or how would the board want that to look? The letter came to GM Bears and I, and we thought it might be, if we were going to send a letter report, it may be appropriate for this one to come from the board itself, but just wanted a clarification on what the board wants for the letter.
I was thinking it would come on behalf of the board, but I'd open it to anybody's comments about that from the Ag Service Board. Yeah. All right, we have a motion on the computer now. Any discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. And so one final motion to accept the remaining correspondence.
I just want to highlight what we're up against in such a diverse province. A letter from Minbert County on page 160, the continued support for unlimited on-farm slaughter sales in Alberta. They obviously have a totally different problem than we have. They do not have the problem with the ethnic slaughter where people are buying animals from the local auction market and that kind of stuff and immediately slaughtering them. And I don't know how you correct that problem. But it's an interesting one because if you're the minister, you get this letter from Minburn, and then you get a letter from our staff saying, like, we have no control over this stuff. So I don't know how you handle that. Like when you have a horribly written piece of legislation like the On-Farm Slaughter Act is, I think it's difficult when you have such limit, like the organization, the inspectors that are charged with inspecting this operation, and they have, I believe, 6 inspectors in southern Alberta. I mean, it's not a doable thing. Like you're just going to run up against things. So when you have an area problem like we have, they're not going to have the same problem we have in Minburn County. I understand that. You know, anybody with common sense says, if I raise the animal, I should be able to slaughter the animal and I should be able to sell it. That is not what is up for sale here. This is what, when you get into the nuances of somebody that's got 3 acres, somebody that's got 5 acres and is slaughtering hundreds of animals a month. That's where the problems start coming in. So I just bring this up. There's nothing we can do about it. It helps me to remember that when I go, well, the government's not listening to us. Well, the government's going, Minburn County doesn't have it. They want unlimited. So, so anyways, that's all I wanted to do. Having said that, I'll move that we accept the correspondence as information.
Thank you, Member Reichert. Yeah, I think I'll just add that that's the benefit to going to Ag Service Board conferences, that you're able to have a face-to-face conversation with some of these other, municipalities around the province and share our unique situations with each other and learn from each other. So there's definitely value in attending conferences and meeting and speaking to other people in the province. Member Kester?
I think it's important that we be careful. We got a couple bad apples in the barrel. We don't throw out the whole barrel. There are people out there doing it responsibly. We just have to up our surveillance system, whatever that is, maybe phone-in lines, I don't know, but we have producers out there that are very faithful to doing it the right way. We have a couple bad apples, I agree. But we have to be careful not to paint the whole county as bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Member Greer?
Just adding to what Glenn said, and Tom's concern that we can't do anything about it. I mean, similar to how they've wrote a letter. I mean, I wonder if we can write in support of on-farm slaughter but highlighting some of the issues that we're having, like enforcement. I don't know that will change anything necessarily to Member Eichert's point, but highlighting our concerns and the challenges that we're seeing in enforcement, maybe that gives some extra bodies or whatever the case may be. I'm a firm believer in the program. I believe in its absence, these people or these operations will continue in their own way. So maybe it is getting that additional enforcement to assist in solving some of the bad apples or the issues that we're seeing. I don't know if that will shake the tree enough, but I hate believing that we can't do anything about it if a letter could help.
Let's vote on the motion that's before us, and if anybody wanted to raise another motion, you're certainly welcome to do so. So we'll vote to accept the information, correspondence as information. All in favor? That's carried. Any further motions arising? Not today. Okay. All right. Well, we have one final item on our agenda, the closed session item. So I will move us into closed session. All in favor? That's carried. All right. We've come out of closed session and we have a motion arising. Member Link?
I'll move that the board approve the updated ASB summer tour organizational chart as presented and direct administration to seek multiple proposals and quotes not to exceed $10,000 for the event planning advisor position on the detailed planning committee.
Thank you, Member Link. We'll just wait for administration to put it up on the board. There it is. Any discussion? Member Larson.
I won't be supporting this motion because I think it's ridiculous to put this out to multiple quotes. I would stick with the original proposal presented by administration.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor? All in opposed? 2 opposed. Thank you. That's carried. That brings us to the end of our agenda. I'll adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everyone.